Those are very explosive allegations.
It does. And remember, you remember the expose that was done that tied Kenya to, is it RSF?
To RSF. The expose was RSF.
Yeah, RSF.
Like Kenyan ammunition.
Yes,
was found, like in fighting zones.
Yes,
in Sudan.
yeah. And then, guys, so I'm tying that into now the non-nation, the non-NATO ally, the non-NATO but ally status, and these guys are looking, and you've read about it, like association and affiliation.
Yeah,
Ruto.
I mean, I'm not here to hold brief for Ruto, but these are very dangerous allegations that Rigathi is making, especially when where he's talking about that he met with 3 leaders of Al-Shabaab at night in Mandera. Maybe there's something he knows, but if this is the case, he needs to present this in a formal way, even if it cannot go through our court process. But that's a very explosive allegation.
William Ruto, you need to know, the Americans want to know why you are working with Al-Shabaab. Why, when you are in Mandera, you met 3 leaders of the Al-Shabaab militia at night to discuss business with them. They want to know why.
And this is the OneMic Show. Karibuni. So Kenya, was officially granted Major Non-NATO Ally status by President Biden in last year, June 2024. This was after that very embarrassing state visit that was here that people were, ogling about. But yes, so that's when Kenya was granted a non-NATO ally status. This made it the first Sub-Saharan nation to earn this designation, which is a move that's typically aimed from the US side to deepen security cooperation and counter Chinese and Russian influence, especially in the region. So that's a very key part of being a major non-NATO ally, which Kenya was designated. So, of course, there were concerns, emerged, and U.S. Senator James Risch had concerns regarding Kenya's expanding ties with China, Russia, and Iran, and statements made by President Ruto praising China as a co-creator in what's called a new world order. And this is a problem, like with Ruto, like when it's read statements, you can tell that hii ni kitu mtu alimwandikia. He doesn't have that aura of especially for people who know him, to make it seem like this is something that he could have said. And I think some of those big words, that especially that speech that he went and gave when he was in China, this is what created a lot of concern. And this senator cited partially because this major non-NATO ally designation comes with privileges such as getting, some extra US military equipment, getting, a lot of intelligence assistance, and a lot of other things that come with it. You have nations like Qatar that have been with that designation for a long time. Kenya is fairly new to it, but then you also have to do US's bidding. And then you also have to, kind of guarantee US that we are not going to be mixing up with the Chinese and the Russians. So that review, it basically encompasses, it's a review within 90 days of the law's enactment of the Secretaries of State, Defense, Treasury, and the Director of National Intelligence. Then there will be a detailed report within 180 days. So this is still in very preliminary stages. So within 90 days, there will be that classified review, and then we expect a comprehensive report within 180 days. And key areas that will be focused on in that scrutiny includes engagement with U.S. adversaries. That's Kenya's military, political, and financial dealings with China, Russia, and Iran, especially since gaining that status in June of 2024. And then the other one is extremist affiliation, possible relationships with groups like Somalia's Al-Shabaab and Sudan's Rapid Support Forces, RSF. I mean, we of course saw the RSF, launch,
the video there.
launch their constitution in Nairobi.
KICC.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's the use of U.S. aid and intelligence, concerns about misuse of American security assistance, including allegations of civilian abductions, which is very interesting, torture, and extrajudicial actions. So this is very interesting. In fact, I'm going to go back and engage back with Val with what the 625 movement is doing, because I think Val talked about Ruto violating something called the Leahy Act, which is something that we're going to talk about. And then there's something that's also it's titled as Financial Risks and Transparency, whether Kenya is serving as a financial haven for sanctioned individuals or groups, and its debt exposure through Chinese investments and the Belt and Road Initiative. Hapa sasa Ruto atakabwa, because the political consequences might be, but do not only include, if the review maybe finds cause for concern, Kenya risks losing some key privileges it got with that status. That includes access to U.S. military loans, grants, and surplus equipment, eligibility to hold U.S. war reserve stockpiles on Kenyan soil, and then cooperation in research and development, joint military trainings, and defense and supply advantages, and then also bidding privileges on U.S. Defense Department contracts outside of the U.S., and then ability to purchase specialized munitions like depleted uranium rounds. Now, this is where we are. And let me now just throw this to the floor.
Now, before even you throw it to the floor.
Yes.
Here is the clip.
William Ruto, you need to know, the Americans want to know why you are working with Al-Shabaab. Why, when you are in Mandera?
Hold on. Let me.
William Ruto, you need to know, the Americans want to know why you are working with Al-Shabaab. Why, when you are in Mandera, you met 3 leaders of the Al-Shabaab militia at night to discuss business with them. They want to know why. They also want to know why you have removed the requirement for vetting of non-Kenyans before they are given IDs. The Americans are concerned that suspected terrorists will be registered as Kenyans, and they will find their way to America and the rest of the world and create terror in the world. Your decision to suspend vetting of foreigners before they are given registration in Kenya is a threat to world security. And not just the Americans are concerned, Kenyans are concerned too. And this you must answer. You cannot endanger the security of the world because of your business interest. It is true you are doing business with Al-Shabaab, but you cannot endanger world security. The Americans also want to know why, against the Kenya Constitution, you have become the worst violator of human rights in Kenya. Why are you abducting young children? Why are you killing young children? Why did you abduct American, Turkey nationals of American origin?
Yes.
Okay.
So now,
no French.
So now,
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
That's Rigiji.
That is that. Those are very explosive allegations.
It has, and remember, you remember the expose that was done that tied Kenya to, is it RSF?
To RSF. The expose was RSF.
Yeah, RSF.
Like Kenyan ammunition.
Yes, that one
was found, like in fighting zones.
Yes,
in Sudan.
yeah. And then, guys, so I'm tying that into now the non-nation, the non-NATO ally, the non-NATO but ally status, and these guys are looking, and you've read about it, association and affiliation.
Yeah.
Ruto.
I mean, I'm not here to hold brief for Ruto, but these are very dangerous allegations that Rigathi is making, especially when where he's talking about that he met with 3 leaders of Al-Shabaab at night in Mandera. Maybe there's something he knows, but if this is the case, he needs to present this in a formal way, even if it cannot go through our court process. But that's a very explosive allegation. Now, the claim that that foreigners are being, the vetting was for foreigners to acquire Kenyan IDs. I can't remember what words he used, but use the word foreigners. And that right there, sasa hiyo hapo ndo ndaita xenophobia. I will call that xenophobia because Rigathi is playing this game of dividing Kenyans. He understands the subtle xenophobia that's there against Somalis. So when he uses words like foreigners, to mean, the Kenyans who've been denied IDs in Northeastern Province for years, that is just talking xenophobia. So I think, I know, politically, those are very charged statements.
Very charged.
But I think also, Rigiji now is walking into very, very dangerous territory. By what he's doing. I would not be surprised, if the president went and met, people, because he is already in business with RSF. I cannot claim that he met with Al-Shabaab because I don't know. But Rigiji is making that claim, and he said they were meeting for business.
And don't forget,
the
thing
that's
is
a bit explosive.
Like in situations like this, circumstances like this, what I always look for is the counter. You can't accuse me of stealing and then I be quiet. I'll ask you, okay, you did. Show where is the proof? But if I go quiet, because sometimes when you go silent, politically, we're talking about politics.
Yes.
Yeah, going silent means kuna kitu naficha.
Yeah. I won't be surprised. This is Ruto.
Because
I won't be surprised.
Has he ever come out to counter the claim of the documentary or the expose that was done about the RSF and Kenya?
I think the Ministry of Foreign Affairs may have said something, if I'm not mistaken.
You see?
Yeah.
Because even if they did, it was nothing substantial because they may have.
Yeah.
We don't even know.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like to come out and vehemently say, like now, tunajuanga Orange Man and with Jeffrey Epstein, what does he always say? Whatever. Even as much as he denies.
You see, there's a theory that is being fronted by, and this is a theory, so don't take it as fact. It's a theory being fronted by a lot of people, a lot of political insiders who are saying that Rigiji may actually be Ruto's project.
Okay.
He may be Ruto's project. And it's a theory that's being fronted because here's the deal.
Make the theory make sense.
So Ruto understands that he's lost the Mount Kenya vote.
Okay.
Yeah. Like almost completely lost it.
Yes.
So he has an understanding.
Imeenda.
But now his team is thinking, now that we've lost this vote, where would we rather this vote go? Would we rather give it to Rigiji, make Rigiji a candidate and Mount Kenya votes for him? Or would we rather Rigiji takes this vote somewhere else, to somewhere else that potentially, tuseme Rigiji amwe kupeleka hizi votes kwa Kalonzo. And Kalonzo potentially defeats Ruto in 2027. Because think about it. Ruto, knowing where he is right now with his lack of popularity, he would rather Rigiji runs for president and keeps those votes to himself. So that ensures that there will be a second round in the election. Rather than if Rigiji gives to, like another, not necessarily strong candidate, another fairly strong candidate, let's say Kalonzo. Rigiji amwe, ndampatia Kalonzo hizi votes zote za Mount Kenya.
Ruto is like LSSC. Ruto is LSSC.
Are you saying it's fake?
Like a nonsense.
And that's why that theory, it may be
That theory
it may be a viable theory.
in on paper is just a theory.
It's a theory, yes.
Just like LSSC selling people scooter shares and
Yes.
lighting shares.
Yes. Now before we get to the LSSC.
And I was doing that as a segue because it came in right on the mark.
Yes, but before we get
Because
to the,
Mudo na yoyo.
yeah, Mudo na yoyoma ndio. Before we get to the LSSC,
Because but that theory,
because think about it. Why would let's say like they, of course Rigiji is not supposed to run because he was impeached.
yes.
But
And then there was a court ruling.
there's
the
a
other
court
day.
ruling.
There was a court ruling
Let-
that upheld his impeachment.
but there's still a case in court about
it
it.
still is.
So let's say this thing is overturned. Where is Ruto's interest? Would Ruto want, think about it right now, would Ruto want Rigiji to run in 2027 or not? And maybe sasa hapa Mika kama bado huko.
No, it's not- Mika is
Fire,
not.
chime in.
Me personally, as
Yeah.
a Murima person,
Yeah.
adutaki Murima, any person from Murima running. Because one, we don't have one.
So let me ask you, what if Rigiji runs?
Guys, no, people will be like, no.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure,
Okay, good.
but
I-
no.
yeah.
By the way, no. At this juncture, we don't want anyone.
No, but
As a Murima.
I get it.
But if he runs,
but let's
Aki-
say by theory,
if he runs,
yes. Yeah.
if he runs
yeah.
and Ruto runs,
Yes.
Ruto gets another term.
And that's why I'm asking you, what is Ruto's interest? It is for Rigiji to run.
Yes,
Yeah.
but if Rigiji is smart, he won't run.
Okay.
Neither will anyone from the mountain. In fact, if anything, and we're having this discussion with Babahanya and some other guys, because I was listening, like unakaa na wazee unasikia.
Yeah.
They're saying, hata Kalonzo runs, and let's say selects Martha or Natembea
Yeah.
or someone.
Yeah.
And then, because right now,
So
currently,
if Rigiji doesn't run, who does he give his votes to?
if he doesn't run,
Yeah. Who does he give his
if
votes to?
he will give his votes
Who
to.
does he give Murima to?
He will give his votes to the unanimous consent. See, because they're having
Are you saying the unanimous opposition?
unanimous opposition.
Opposition candidate.
Yes.
But you and I know there will be no such thing as a unanimous opposition.
No. When you
candidate.
say you and I both, me
No,
I
we
know
all
there
know.
is.
No, we all know. There's what's being said and then there's the reality.
We'll wait.
Who do we have on board? We have Kalonzo.
Uh-huh.
Kalonzo is definitely running.
Okay.
Like no doubt, regardless of who.
That is Karonjo.
Who, regardless of who wins.
Uh-huh.
So
Matiang'i.
Matiang'i. Matiang'i will also run.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's Uhuru's candidate.
Uh-huh.
That's already two.
Uh-huh.
There's a possibility that Rigathi.
No, let us
will
just
also run.
let us correct something. Allegedly, he's Uhuru's candidate. Carry on.
No, he's Uhuru's candidate.
Let's allegedly.
Yeah.
No, you don't have facts.
So Rigathi.
No, let us say allegedly.
You can say allegedly.
No,
but
I will say
never-
allegedly. And
Yeah.
no, those are at least
Can we move on?
Yeah.
Muda,
Those are-
Muda in a.
those
Yeah.
are those are
In a-
Yeah.
listos.
So I think.
So
there
who's the
will
other
be-
one? There's
I think
Madakarua.
there will be at least, at the bare minimum, there will be at least two major candidates, and then you cannot forget the Maragas and the Omtatas.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
we're not. I'm talking. I'm thinking there are those ones.
Yeah.
But the coalition, because I'm looking at the grand coalition
Yeah.
of Mother, Rigi. When I say Rigi, I'm saying DCP.
Yeah.
Then Mother's party, Matiang'i's party.
Yeah.
So far, those are the Karojo,
Wamala.
Wamalwa. So
Who else was
once
in that meeting?
so once those three, once that group decides on
Natembea. Natembea
Yeah,
was also-
Natembea is
was
part of the
Natembea
group?
is part of the group.
I don't think he was.
No,
part
he
of
wasn't
that.
part
I'm
of
not
the
sure. I
group.
don't.
Yeah.
I don't
No, he
know.
wasn't
I don't know if
part
he
of
is.
Yeah.
But if they all decide to have one person, if they meet together and
candidate.
decide one candidate, and then they throw their weight behind that one candidate, because that was what Martha said. That's what Mother Karua said.
Yes.
So if they all agree, then they're going to, because they really want to make
The
this guy
goal-
one time.
their
So
goal is to remove Ruto.
to remove Ruto. So
Yeah.
if right now the guy who stands the best chance is Kalonzo.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
He stands
Fair
the
enough.
best chance
Yeah.
to be the flag bearer.
To be the flag bearer.
Whoever is his second, maybe that is where now there needs
That-
to
that
be
might
negotiation,
tilt, yeah.
because it could be Mother,
Yeah.
it could be Natembea.
Okay.
Well, Martha told us she wasn't gonna be a second.
No, she wouldn't be a second. So if she's not a
She said
second,
she's not gonna be a
So
running
that
mate.
might
She'll
leave-
throw her weight behind whoever the
Yeah.
consensus is.
so
Yeah.
that might
If-
be
again, assuming that the opposition then now decides that they're going to have one candidate, because
Yes.
they may disagree.
yes. They
And
may
everybody-
disagree.
and
Yeah.
everybody goes kivyake. Sasa you
And
go
that is what Ruto is hoping for, because if he
Yes.
gets that and everybody splits, who knows?
Now, the reason why I think there will not be one consensus candidate is because this coming election will likely be decided in the second round. So if you had not thrown in your hat to fight in the first round and to show I have 20% or I have 30%, now in that second round, you're not even going to be on the table. You won't be there. And now, where I think it might be a sink or swim strategy is if there is, first of all, we don't know if Baba will run. I think there's a very high chance that Baba will run.
A little buddy was telling me that the setup is such that Baba will be the scenario is to show fragmentation in the bread-based government.
Yeah.
Baba steps aside.
Yes. And
Baba
then this will
runs.
keep ODM folks happy.
Yes.
Yeah. Because ODM folks are upset with broad-based.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then once that happens, then that way it's a
Because
ruse.
both Ruto and Baba just need to be in the top 3.
Yes.
And that's the ugliest part about having they only need to be in the top 3.
Yes.
You don't even need to perform well.
Yes.
They only need to be in the top 3, because let's say Kalonzo is number 1, Ruto is number 2, and Baba is number 3. See, they will go back to that boardroom and create now a formal broad-based.
Yes.
And then go to the runoff as one unit. And now Baba will come back and say, but si niliwaambia mimi nilikuwa nimetoka, lakini sasa because nilikuja nikakuwa namba 3 ikabidi tuungane tena. So that's a possibility. That's what might happen, because they realize the discontent that's there in ODM. So if he bolts out to run, it may stop the bleeding in ODM and may even bring back, like some of those people who had exited ODM. Like finally, Baba has cut ties with Ruto, but this might just be a temporary move, such that let's go get the top 3 and then tukutane huko
mbele.
Yeah, tukutane huko mbele.
Bro,
So,
and it's only 2025.
it's only 2025.
It's only 2025.
This is gonna be very ugly.
I think, okay, so I was listening to I'm gonna use a football analogy over here. And by the way, what's going on with the Commanders? Surely you guys are gonna let Nani, your wide receiver, just bounce like that?
No, we are busy. We are thinking about the stadium.
Wait, but not.
Oh, sorry. So I was talking to Relu. I mean, not talking to. I was listening to Relu. He's talking about, like the way he had studied Peyton Manning. There's a 40-second clock before you snap the ball.
Yeah.
Correct.
So what he realized was, say, until the 10-second whatever, anything that he calls on the line is
It's
garbage.
Yeah.
Musema kweli is when he gets under 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And that is the call. That is now what, then once he hears that, he tells his defense, we kadhe, uwe nataka kufanya hivi, haya kani chonjo, umse vile nafanya inaonekana atafanya hivi. And usually, Ray was right, sometimes right. You could miss the tackle, you could miss the ball.
A lot of times he was right.
Yes, he was right, but sometimes you just
like,
miss.
Nonsense.
But he would fake a lot of people because you'd give so many faults, whatever. Same thing. It's 2025. Boss. 2027 January.
That's when the real signals will be
That
made.
is when now you know.
Yeah.
Mbivu na mbichi.
Yes.
When the rubber meets the road.
That's when the real signals will be made. But
right now, like even these my allegiances, my sijui what, my K, you know what, natembea, whatever. Who knows? Again, somebody once told me, I think it was John Dennis Maganda.
Yeah.
AKA Saguru, once said, politics in Kenya, one day is a lifetime.
It sure is.
Lifetime. LSSC, oh sorry.
Yeah, so Gypsy Kona hapa nasema Kenyans, we are forgetful and amnesia kicks in
like a
during election
nonsense.
time.
Like a nonsense.
And then these opposition leaders have earned Ruto a second term. And to me, my concern that I see, especially with Murima, is that watu wanapangwa, you know, like and what I'm fearful of is Murima was so excited with Ruto, you know, like when they started getting upset at Uhuru, and they decided to vote for Ruto. So now Murima again, I am seeing the same mistake. They're getting very excited with Gachagua and anointing him because they're upset with Ruto. So we need to be careful of what we wish for.
I'll say this. Speaking to people on the ground.
Yeah.
Rigiji injecting is very good. And I think you yourself have said over here, as guys were not beholden. Murima is not beholden to a person. One election cycle will support you. The next one, tutakuchuja. Case in point,
kama vile alichuja Uhuru.
The way kwanza they injected
but
with Uhuru.
Nasema, iyo mchuja Uhuru,
so
we have to be careful not
No,
to
I agree. We have to be, but right now, remember, these guys, in the back of their mind, know the person who brought Uongo Man was none other than
Rigiji.
Yes.
But he's apologized.
He's apologized.
Yeah.
But apology...
Amesema sorry.
Acceptance is one thing. Sometimes, me and you are boys. Unifanyia madharau. Lakini, Omosh, anza kukunini. Anza kukuchokoza. We. Wachana na boy wangu. Please. Heshimu. That's my guy. I know him like that. Sawa, please, tuheshimiane. Utaki vita, relax. Does not mean that I've forgiven you. This guy has a steep career to climb.
He has a steep mountain.
Even if you see Uhunye over there with Ruto wanaselimiana, Ruto is the one who's forcing, like, oh, even I allowed my brother to come in, I showed him advances and all that.
Yeah.
Vipindre tu, ni vipindre.
Yeah. But
it's 2025.
It's 2025.
2027.
But I'm already seeing signs. You know, like the signs that I started seeing.
Please, usikwe kama Prophet War.
No, I'm just seeing signs. You know, like I'm seeing similar patterns to what I was seeing. You know, like within a year and a half, 2 years to before the 2022 election when Ruto alianza kutangatanga, initially ilikuwa, we can never, I mean, I know part of the agreement was kumi ya Uhuru.
Kumi bila break.
Yeah, kumi bila break.
Kumi yangu na kumi yake.
Yeah. But then, you know, like initially ilikuwa, you know, like Ruto is just injecting against Uhuru. Then the injections turned into political endorsement and it turned into votes. So I'm afraid, and at least here in the diaspora, I'm starting to see those patterns which are getting me a little bit
What patterns?
jittery. I'm seeing patterns of like just as long as he's injecting against Uhuru, the person we don't like, will slowly start going to his political camp and potentially voting for him. So with Rigiji, I'm seeing the same things, like just because, let's give him a break, just because he's injecting, and the injection is good, but my concern is when sasa itafika point where he's like, I'm running for president, and let me tell you,
I'll say this. I think this is what I'll say, hypothetically speaking.
yeah,
With first the Supreme Court ruling, the ruling that, because the challenge of him not being not being able to run for office, but he'll participate. But with the Constitution, it allows you, even if you've been impeached or there's a pending case, as long as the case is pending or whatever is, you can run. If he decides to run, and I think it would be interesting to get the consensus of Murima if they want him to run or if they want him to endorse somebody. And if they want him to endorse somebody, who would he endorse? Or what would make him want to endorse a certain person? I think those are the things that probably, again, I think if we can borrow a leaf from what you said, and maybe also like what happens here, to get a pulse of what the ground says.
Yeah.
So like if those Kameme FMs, those Inoros, those ones in the mountain, if they can get a pulse of what people are thinking. One, they don't want they don't want Kasongo. That's a fact.
Okay. All right. Before we move on to this conversation, Wairimo karibu sana. Wairimo saying at the funeral today, Raila endorsed WSR. And then Wairimo is also saying what Rigiji said about foreigners was not xenophobic. The first person to assert that foreigners were getting IDs was the Tana River governor. He said his chiefs were being forced to sign off for Watu. So I don't know about this Tana River governor part. I know Natembea has said something. And Wairimo will say this again. It is xenophobic. And you know why? And we actually had a very detailed discussion about like how Kenyan Somalis were being denied IDs. And I think Kenyans have been desensitized to that point to feel like it's okay for a whole community. Like it's one thing, a whole entire community, which is not the only cross-border community, to be vetted when it comes to getting IDs. A lot of people were saying, a lot of people who don't know the background of this thought that it started when we started having the refugee crisis in the early 90s. No, this is something that started way back in the 60s. And I think we covered this so much in detail, but I think people need to start being comfortable with the idea that Somalis are Kenyans. And I will tell you, in a legit census that's done, and I know this is a very uncomfortable topic, we know that, and of course, Ruto is trying to take advantage of the numbers because he does understand that there's a very big number in that community of Kenyans who, for years, have been denied IDs. So he's not doing this necessarily out of the goodness of his heart. He's doing it so that he can win votes in 2027. On this one thing, I will say it, everybody knows how I feel about Ruto, but on this one thing, I will say this is one thing that he got right. And I know this is a very unpopular position because people had gotten to the comfort of treating all Somalis like suspects. You have to prove that you're Kenyan before you get an ID. And I think that in itself was very, very problematic. So in as much as Ruto is trying to cure it to his personal benefit But I will say it was about time. And that's the reason why Ruto will get the Somali vote. Now, the thing is, because Somalis have been undercounted, both in national census and they've been denied IDs, and now a lot of them have been getting the IDs that they justifiably deserve. I think there will be a surprise when the registration numbers come from there. And I understand, some people will see it this way and that way, but also when we look at things realistically, in the different communities in Kenya, people who are under the age of 40 or under the age of 45, how many communities still have these people having 6-7 kids? It is mostly people from the Somali community. So their population has definitely really grown from those numbers that typically are given during the census.
So what does not help?
Yeah.
Who's that lady? Is she, politician?
Ule alisema Wataiba.
That one.
I think that was our Wajir. Was it Wajir? I can't remember. I think it was Wajir woman rep.
Wajir Mandela.
Yeah.
Those are the things that don't help.
They don't help. They certainly don't
at
help.
all. And the worst part about it is, how Rithagli clans wanachukwanga one thing and then they blast it.
Yeah.
That. So whatever she said, no matter whatever, kama ni kuiba tutaiba.
Yeah.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help the cause. In as much as, and I agree with you, because sometimes it's a very good, because there's even listening to the guys who are being interviewed, like the guys who, even the lady on a Fix the Nation with Eric Latif, his new show, and they had the expert on talking about how even trying to get an ID becomes a problem. The fact if sometimes I think instead of some things instead of publicizing them, unafanya chini ya maji, like you try to rectify the wrongs, make the process a vetting process, not a vetting process, but a process where to get an ID, this is what you need, this is what make the process
a transparent process,
and painless.
Yeah.
However, you make it public. That's okay. You can make it public. But the process that is being followed, there's no vetting. Okay. Many of us don't understand vetting because guess what? We've never really gone through vetting. Let's agree. Me, I haven't.
Yes.
You have.
Yes. Absolutely.
So I don't understand the vetting process,
and
the lack of knowing that handicaps us to comprehend
what it is.
Exactly, because it's just like here, immigration.
Yeah.
Right? The stuff that is being put, whites don't understand.
No, they don't get it.
But we get it.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. We get it. Kenyans from mountain, from the lake or whatever, don't get it.
No, they don't.
Our brothers and sisters in Upper Northeastern, they get it.
They get it. And that's why I want Wairimo to understand. And Wairimo is saying that she grew up in Langata constituency. That is my area. Mm-hmm. I grew up in Nairobi West. So labda tulipitana tu somewhere huko.
Chances are,
yes.
You probably even sat in the same matri.
So I grew up in Nairobi West. Nimeenda madrasa na hawa wa Somali, like in South Sea, like I attended madrasa hiyo ya South Sea Mosque. That's where, that's a place. There used to be another one kule chini karibu na Saga Stores before this one ya South Sea Mosque Ijengwe. So me, I'm very familiar, like with the growth of the Somali community within, especially that South Sea area. Because Wairimo hapa anasema, I grew up in Langata constituency with lots of Somali neighbors and schoolmates, but we need strong borders. What does that have to do with strong borders, Wairimo? This is where I'm telling you, challenge yourself kidogo. like what does vetting have to do with strong borders? Because sasa, even sisi sasa non-Somalis, we were catching strays. That's how we ended up being put in this.
Your name
vetting
betrays
queue.
you, and
because the name betrays.
That is the disconnect, and
Yes.
that's what I was saying. Us guys don't understand. Werimo,
Yeah.
you really don't get
So
it.
Irimo, I am gonna share with you, like if like, and this is if there's interest in knowing, like the injustice that this system created, whereby you're in an area, people in their mid to late 20s do not have IDs. People in their early 30s do not have IDs, and not having an ID in Kenya means that you cannot secure employment.
Yes.
You cannot open a bank account. There are so many things that you cannot do without an identification card.
Yes.
Which is the reason why this was very existential for the Somali people. And for me personally, like, in as much as I hate Kasongo, in as much as I just want to see him disappear and go to Sugoi and keep selling chicken, but I would not blame the people of Northeastern, because whatever they were experiencing was very, very existential, and no president wanted to tackle it from independence until now.
Aya, I want you to respond to Bakora's statement, but before that, Wairimo, how easy or how difficult was it for you to get your ID?
By the way,
I'm asking Wairimo so that she can respond.
but by the way, some people tend to confuse vetting with ile kitu unaambiwa ati nendo tafute signature kwa chief. That's the very easy part. That's a very easy part. Spice FM, NTV Fixing the Nation, Kina Eric Latif, they
Yes.
did an amazing job.
Right.
So if you really want to, this is not the right platform. If you really want to understand, just go there.
Because what's the process? Because I want to, the reason I'm asking,
Nani,
it's the
6-month
process. Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali, Jicho Pevu, 6-month-old.
Yes.
What security is there
For a 6-month-old?
Like looking
That's
for
what I'm asking. That's what I was asking Wairimo. What exactly did she go through, even just to get an ID?
But you see, I think the problem, and
Because an ID,
where I can't blame Wairimu, I think the problem is that people have been desensitized to see this other group as a security problem and make it okay to say that everyone in this community, before they get an ID, they need first of all to prove that they are bona fide Kenyans who are not a threat to the republic.
and that is why.
Yeah.
And that is that right there. That's why I'm asking how
Yeah.
easy was it for her, or how hard was it for her
Yeah.
to get an ID?
Okay.
I'm just asking for. I'm just looking at something simple as an ID.
Yeah.
What did she have to do vis-a-vis what Ali had to do to get an ID?
There you go.
Unaget. And that is it.
Simple question.
That is it.
Bakora panasema there's no xenophobic argument to reach out to Somali community who run back home. Minnesota Mall, Ohio, Columbus, Nashville, Eastleigh won't be going up if no security and confidence. Hapo Bakora jieleze kidogo, like bado sitakuelewa vizuri. But hapa Bakora anasema how many Congolese, Burundians, Somali come out from Kenya to abroad to invest back home, who invest in Eastleigh Mall. Again, number to call 202-683-4570. Press star 5 to speak.
I don't think
Gypsy Kona anasema it's sad to blame Somalians for our flaws. This means education is the key. Uno Mike.
No, I was gonna say. Well, yeah. The thing is, scapegoating.
Yeah.
All we're talking about is this: how hard it is to verify or to get an ID.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
If you are Wairimo, ama Sisol, or Mosh, ama Mika or Chieng or whatever, unaenda mambo kuisha. Lakini kama jina yako ni Ali Suleiman Khomeini Badawi,
Yes.
then there's and again, and that is all that I'm saying, because if that can be addressed, just a simple ID, then we can move away from not necessarily targeting, but then we can understand how I'm not going to use the word xenophobia, but it is an unwarranted attack on a community. People who have been born, raised, and whatever. Muhammad Ali's daughter, 6-month-old.
This problem is much.
And by the one of the hosts of Fix the Nation.
Yes, one of the hosts, Mariam. You know, like, and these are people who are born in the city, daughters of the children of former Mandera senator. Yani hata senator hasazwi, watoto wake pia lazima wakuwe vetted. I'm like, their father is a senator in the Kenyan Senate, but they still have to go through,
and that is why I'm saying
they still have to go through.
And that was my question to Erimo. For you, how easy it was?
Yeah,
uni politician akona shida, Muturi ama Otieno ama Wafula.
Okay, aya, wacha tusome comments hapa before we go to the last topic of conversation. Hapa Steven Bati alikuwa anafurahia imitation yangu ya baba. I think I could have maybe done some comedy in a previous life, but anyway. Esther Mulusa anasema Kenyan politics is too transient. We need 2 or 3 ideologically based parties, not these constant contortions, mergers and distortions of parties. And then Nancy Mirosi anasema, have you guys discussed Sifuna and the role in ODM if he resigns or gets fired? Amin Ali hapa anasema, thank you Ali, what is the discussion today? Today is a random Friday. Amin Ali, talk to us, give us your experience on how you got your Kenyan ID, whether you got it directly ama if you had to go through vetting. Watu wa majina kama hizi zetu, we always experience certain problems when getting IDs, and I think, you know, like, it's difficult for other people to understand. Even when people are getting them in schools, people who get their IDs in schools when they're in Form 4, ukifika unafikiwa, Abdi, wewe itabidi ungoje, umalize KCSE, uende kwa ofisi.
Uende home kwako.
Yes. Yeah.